today's mathematics lesson. I'm your favorite teacher, the Watchman, teacher Fabian. Today, I want us to look at quadratic expressions and equations. This is a continuation of a topic that you did in Form 1, and that is algebraic expressions. Now, there are 4 methods that can be used to solve a quadratic equation. I'm going to list them here, and then we are going to tackle one by one. So number 1, you can use factor method to tackle a quadratic equation. Number 2, you can use completing the square method. And then, number 3, you can also use a general quadratic equation to solve a quadratic equation. And then number 4, you can use graphical method. So I'm going to start with the first one, that is the factor method. And here we are talking about factorization. So a quadratic expression is in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c, where a, b, and c are constants. For example, I want us, we do this example together. A question may be posed to you by the examiner, and you are told, factorize. Factorize completely and solve for x. Here we have 28x squared plus 3x minus 1. You are told to factorize this quadratic equation, and then you solve for x. So we are going to use the factor method. Because I've said the quadratic expression is in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c, then if you look at our equation, we can say 28 is our a, positive 3 is our b, and negative 1 is our c. So how do you go about it? You get the product, and the product you take a and you multiply it by c. That is our product. Then from there, you get the sum, and the sum, it is the value of b. Now, in our quadratic equation, we can get our product. So we take the value of a, and then we multiply with the value of c. So p, representing product, is equal to 28 multiplied by negative 1. And then we get it is negative 28. Then our sum is equal to the value of b, which is positive 3. Positive 3. So then from there, so we can have now our product here. Let me write it here. So we have said our product is negative 28 and our sum is positive 3. Our two numbers there. So what you do, you just ask yourself, which are the two numbers that when you multiply, they are going to give you negative 28, and then when you add them, they are going to give you positive 3. So we have, first of all, we have 7 and 4. Because if you say 7 multiplied by 4, you can get 28. But now we want negative 28. And also remember, when you add these two numbers, they must give you positive 3. So we can have our 4 here being negative 4. Because if you say a positive 7 multiplied by negative 4, you are going to get negative 28. A positive number multiplied by a negative number, you get a negative number. Then from there, if you say 7, then you add to negative 4, you are going to get positive 3. So having gotten these two numbers, you are going now to replace the value of b here. So now we have a new equation, that is 28x squared plus 7x minus 4, then minus 1. Minus 4x, then minus 1. Then from there, you can see we have now two groups here. We have this group, and then we have another group here. So we can factor out by grouping. So you ask yourself, now we have the first group, that is 28x squared plus 7x. What is the common divisor of the first group? So we can have 7, and also you can have x, so that when you say 28 divided by 7, you are going to get 4, and then x squared divided by x, you get it is x. Then from there, plus 7x divided by 7x, you get it is positive 1. So now, what you have gotten here in our first bracket must be the same in our second bracket. So you ask yourself, which number will be able will be the common divisor, so that now you can get 4x plus 1 in our second bracket. So we can have negative 1, because if you say negative 4 divided by negative 1, you are going to get positive 4, and then we have x there. Then negative 1 divided by negative 1, you get it is positive 1. So you can see in both brackets the values are the same. So if the values are the same, then from there you take the values in one bracket and the one which is the outside of the bracket, that is 7x minus 1 and 4x plus 1. So up to this point, this now becomes our answer in terms of factorization. Then from there now, you can proceed to get the value of x, because you are told solve for x. So what you do is this: you take the values in the first bracket there, 7x minus 1, you equate to 0. Then you move 1 on the other side of the equal sign, that is 7x is equal to 1. Divide by 7 on both sides, you get x is equal to 1 all over 7. So you have solved for x in our first bracket, and then from there we have the second bracket, which is 4x plus 1 is equal to 0. Then 4x is equal to negative 1. I've moved positive 1 on the other side. When you move it, it becomes negative 1. Then to get the value of x, you divide by 4 both sides, and then x is equal to negative 1 over 4. So that's one example that I've used to demonstrate to my viewers and the students on how you can use the factor method to solve a quadratic equation. I'm going to give you a task so that when you get your free time, you can also solve this equation through factorization. And this is the question. So you have question here. Factorize and solve for x. Factorize and solve for x. We have x squared minus 8x minus 9. So before we meet in our next lesson, I anticipate that you will have done my assignment. Kindly watch my channel, subscribe, like, and share. Thank you.